Nowadays, job market is really bad, actually. So a lot of producers, they just stop investing any monies. And I think this spring will get better. So that's roughly like who I am. And I'm not sure I'm the right person to here to speak about this. But anybody, here to be a like artist? You're used to? What do you mean by used to? I see. Uh-huh. Mhm. I see. You guys have any specific question about like this industry of art or anything? Actually, I prepared some things, but like the thing is like there's a couple of things happened. The crazy wildfire happened. Plus, I certain point I was like, wait a minute. So I kind of want to know what you guys really curious about this art because this is only like 30-minute session. I don't think I can change your life forever here. Because there's a short period of time. But I kind of want to know first, anybody kind of specifically like curious about anything? Oh, really? Yeah, I taught art center for 3 years in ED, the entertainment design. That's a kind of really, so this is the one of thing that I want to say, kind of God's guidance. So as you, I already told you guys like my initial reason I got here is want to go to art center, but I couldn't because there's so many reasons. After like 15 years later, my first movie in DreamWorks is Megamind, and then production designer name is Guillaume. He's a like French guy. And one point he became a chair of Art Center ED. So like he gave me a call, like say, could you teach your things in Art Center? And that's how I got to Art Center. Like long detour, after 15 years later, completely different way. That's how sometimes God guides you, so you never know. So I really want to say two things. So mostly like, college student here? Okay. So after graduate, you guys want to get a job, right? Good job, good money job, right? Have you guys thought about what Bible say about the job? Just get a fancy car and house, and that's what you're expecting? Okay, I want to write down one word. Yeah, it could be. It can put aside. Whatever I said, you guys, it's okay to forget. But after this speech, just remember this word, abad. This word you can find the Old Testament in the Bible 293 times. This means worship. but three different meanings. First meaning is like this worship we normally do every Sunday. Second meaning is serve your neighborhood. Third meaning is work, labor. So have you guys thought about it? Why this work is a worship? Have you thought about it? So like long time ago, there was a labor and work normally become serving their worship. And after they finish the farming, they kind of gather all the fruits and just give to the God, you know. So old meaning of those farming and working is really closely related to their worship. But I don't think it's changed even nowadays. So when you guys after graduate find a job, that's not just for make living. That is worship. Right? It's completely different things. So, and then you guys, the way you guys see your job and, you know, as a kind of point of view of your job should be different than other people, right? As a Christian. So if you have that point of view, if your work and job, it could be a worship, and then everything suddenly become different and everything becomes suddenly like important, you know? So in my experience, the most kind of difficult time that I have, whenever I working for DreamWorks and in this company, just parents bring their kids to the company, and can you check their work and things. The most kind of hard time that I have is like, someone just work really hard, but not really talented. You know what I mean? So when you actually go to, have you guys been to Anime Expo? And there's a lot of like professional work there, but there's a backside, there's a fan art. They work ass off. Sorry, my expression, but so sadly, it's not reach the professional level, right? So what you guys need to pray for it is, what I believe is God give you, every single one of you, something outstanding. That is really important thing. So someone just asked me, what is a talent? I simply stated, something is so easy to me, but other people is so hard. That's the talent. You know, like, I'm totally fine with the singing. So one of the funny experiences in Korea, we all like go to training session, and there's kind of all the PhD people, with the same group. When you ask them to sing, they like sweating like crazy. So like for some people, the singing is kind of nightmare, you know. But like for me and some other people, they even enjoy it. So like I said, this is only 30-minute session. I can give you guys, every single one of you have a direction, but you guys have to seriously think about like, what do you mean by talent? What gave us something special? So that's the first thing you guys need to figure it out with in terms of like praying and like with your mentors and people. So I normally describe this way. Your talent is kind of gold. Some people is on the ground. You can just, when you're born, just grab it. It's easy, right? Someone just like, 5 years old is singing like, like Whitney Houston. That's the like case, Oh, you don't need to sing. But some people, unfortunately, in the ground. Some people in the 30 centimeters, but sometimes 100 meters down there. What you need to do? Dig it. Otherwise, you never find your talent. It's all different. Some people just obviously have a talent, but some people not. So one of the things that I kind of frustrating whenever I see the kind of young generation, they don't even know what they want. And then, how can we help you guys? So that's why I just keep telling, like, that's one of the reasons family is really important. I think that initially their parents should help their kids find the gold. Otherwise, who else can do, I kind of help my friend to do it, but, I'm kind of fortunate, but not everybody case. So, like I said, I normally describe like church is really good place to training. If some people ask me like what is the believing God is kind of wearing glasses. What that means is like when you believe in God, the world never changes immediately, but way you see it is different now, right? So my point is, in church, you guys, after all this training, and then when you actually get a job, that's another part of the real game, actually, beginning. So church is the place you learn about God, you worship God. But most important, real game starts when you're actually outside of the church. So like, when you actually graduate the school, when you get a job, and you guys believe your job is a worship, that's the true meaning of, war is heaven. It's outside of the church. So what I see is like nowadays problem is I kind of made this joke with other friends like, what if Elon Musk is a Christian? What if like Mike Bezos is a Christian? Someone just really like big influence in the outside of the church. They normally not Christian. Isn't it sad? So one of the things that I really kind of sad is nowadays there's a bit of disconnection between church and outside of the church. I don't know. We just seriously question ourselves like, are we really sending good Christian outside of the church and then make them work, So the art part is just another part of the job. So I don't think it's really matter. But I think that I really want to say about, these things today. Because, that's the really I want to point out, like, Anybody have a question? Oh, by the way, this I never thought this art is really directly impacted by AI recently. So what happened is AI is still having a lot of like kind of copyright issue, but the problem is like this. In China and Korea, a lot of game art job is gone. The reason is main character designer designed the character, all the variation the AI does, like that. So like there's a lot of those things happen. But I always say like, when one door is closed, there's another door is open. So the thing is like, when you looking for a job, all the big company and big like DreamWorks and Pixar or anything, I believe their job getting shorter and smaller. But recently my youngest daughter showed me really funny things, which is like kind of 4 or 5 people made a game. But the game is about, that game was just so shocking. So quality isn't really bad, it's really good actually. But the way they storytelling is like another level. And it's getting so popular, it's so viral in the TikTok or Instagram. But the thing is like only 4 people made it. what I'm trying to say is, instead of like hired by big company, nowadays you guys have a platform, which means so talented couple of people make their own things, and even financially a lot more successful than actually working for the big company. So what that means is like all the even media is the same, right? Nowadays, although still like NBC or CBS are all there, but like a lot of people actually watching the YouTube to getting an information, right? So that same thing happened in this art industry too. There's a still big company, and then people want to work for them, but at the same time, there's a lot successful small groups of people everywhere. So I want you guys to think a little bit differently in terms of like, become an artist. You don't, have to you don't have to work for like big company anymore, in my, opinion. So, and then also a lot of people are really become successful nowadays. Hmm?
Like, who were some of your mentors to, like, give you guidance when you had questions? How did you find them? How did you build those relationships?
Oh, I'm. Whenever you guys have a question, just reach me. That's fine. Whoever wanna be especially the animation industry or entertainment industry. But I'm not sure I can give really the kind of specific. It completely depends on your the major though. Because like in art, there are so many different major. So even my younger daughter be like a story artist, and story artist and illustration is completely different. So I can even someone interested in something I cannot cover, I can probably introduce you guys for someone else. But anybody like say post-production, like movie, live action side, or entertainment, and then animation, I can probably give the advice. Failed art? Yeah, I fail all the time. Yeah, someone just say like those being an artist is fun. Not at all. I explain that things like this graph. That is so this is achievement, this is next level. You always have this point. I want to almost kill myself. Like, So even like this is every time the same. Like I kind of hate this word someone just said, enjoy your work. No, not at all. So every time it's challenging. If it's not challenging, it's not fun either. You know what I mean? Everything's so easy, it gets bored. So like, but whenever you get the next level, you always have a point like, oh, I hate to do this, Yeah. No, that's one of the point I'm just saying these things too. What my point is, job is always limited. But I always say any industry, any dying industry, any popular industry, if you belong to top 5%, you always have a job. So instead of like that industry getting popular, you better make yourself those inside of 5%. Yeah, that's a really important point. That's why I say like I kind of explain about talent things. Someone just outstanding, something like it's too easy for you, but like it's not for others. But some people just kind of not in the middle ground, but it just some people are really hard. I kind of like, you guys know the JYP, right? He explained about the job. He explained, say like, here's your talent, but someone really talented doesn't mean he likes it. Someone just really amazing to singing, but like he hate to sing. Sometimes that happen, right? So job is like kind of middle point about what you really good at, what you like. There's a like something overlap that could be a job. That's what JYP say. Because that's a perfect case scenario is like what you like, what you're good at, but that's not always the case, sadly. Oh.
I just had a simple question. You mentioned a higher tier of successful people in a field, 5–10%. Do you know of any very obvious trait that makes them that great? So how are they able to distinguish themselves from traits immediately?
People just know immediately. So here's the thing. Here's how I recommend my youngest daughter become a story artist. So in art, people can do a lot of like labor to make something like render, just detail things. But mostly, whoever wanna be an artist got a talent or not, I can tell them when I see their sketch, doodle. When I see their line quality, I see he or she can be an artist or not. Yeah, it's very obvious. But of course, there's a different field of the art. Something like kind of graphic design is more about like, not just something free, but like it's different types of organization and talent. But if someone want to be a like story artist, it's all about line quality. Yeah, and then like if you can get basic talent and then push, kind of go to the limit. But if someone doesn't have those sense of skills at all, like which is my first daughter, that's why she become management side. Yeah, she's in production side now. Also, you guys need to know like how many jobs available, really specifically. Like something like this. Nowadays, one of the trend is a lot of art school people graduate and then they go to not development side, they go to production side. Which is they have a really good eye to see the good art, but they want to be a producer later. Like producing good artwork. So you don't have to like go to like good artist always be a good artist. There's a lot of different field and different way.
How does your lifestyle inform your art?
For my art, can you be a little more specific?
Is there some things that you do, some disciplines that you try so that it will be good for your art, your worship, your art worship?
Actually, all the my job related things, other than my job, is completely irrelevant things actually helps. Like traveling around and like mountain biking. Something physical. Like, so my job is in the dark room and just do the art things all day long. So like the mountain biking is completely opposite in the nature, things. So that helps a lot. So sometimes like one of my seniors explained when your skills growing up, when you're not doing it.
Thank you. Rest your brain.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so I think it's almost time's up. So other than any other questions? So as long as my understanding, and so let me just finish my speeches. I'm sorry, it's a little bit of messy. The God is the best artist. So whenever you guys don't believe in God, I just strongly recommend go to aquarium and see all the fishes. do you think it's not, it just accidentally happened? No, it's completely designed, someone. So beautiful, so nice, you know. You can deny God exists, you know.
It's not for you. It's not for you. It's actually for one of the students. If you you can give to anybody who stood out.
Kidding me. How can I give it to them? So who is your who's the art student? I mean, give me a guideline. How can I just? That's better, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's going to be he's probably going to prepare a question, and then he will ask you a question after the second session, and then whoever answers it out probably give it out. All right. Thank you. Please give another round of applause to our Mr. Stancia for a great speech. All right. Our next speaker is Miss Janice Yu. She is the special education teacher at Magnolia Elementary School. She has been teaching for 10 years, and she's a mother of 3 boys. Please welcome Miss Janice Yu. Oh, by the way, can you guys please sign in using the QR code as soon as possible? Thank you.
Do you mind if I sit?
Not at all. This is.
No, I think it's good. I think we can hear it. But, okay. So we have these gift cards to give out with no preliminary anything. So Mr. Stan started out with his age. So can we get some guesses on how old I am? We'll give out the first card. 21. Thank you. Super close. Just kidding. Go ahead. Thank you. Anyone else? Guesses. Quick, come on to Amazon. It's an Amazon gift card. 35. No, thank you. What is it? Super close. Anyone else? Guesses? 30. Super close. Anyone else? 21. Super close. I'm not going to tell you, but thank you. 21. I like that answer. I thought I was going to tell you how old I was. I'm like super Ajumma up here. I have accepted the Ajumma title. I used to always be like, no, I'm Nuna and Imo, but I am absolutely mom of 3 Ajumma. So I am Janice Yu. I went to UC Santa Barbara. I am a special education teacher now for LAUSD. It's a district that I work for. I've been there for about 10 years. Do we have anyone interested in education or going into education? I was going to say, my speech is over. I think I should go now. Just kidding. No one's interested. Thank you. I'm here for you. I guess, sorry. So I knew I wanted to be a teacher ever since I was little, since I was 5. Before I was 5, I said I was going to be a vet. I'm going to be a vet. I'm going to be a vet. I'm going to be a vet. And then I'm allergic to cats. So I had to switch. So I said, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. And I had the very supportive parent that said, you can do anything. I wish they were the Korean parent that said, like, go into coding or go 공부해 and do something good with your life. Go be a doctor. Because, yeah, they were like, great, be a teacher. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. And then, you know, 손가락 빨고 살아야 돼. Anyway, I don't know if you guys understand it. You don't get rich being a teacher. You really, really have to have a heart to be a teacher. It's not a pathway of becoming rich by any means. It's laboring to work with kids all day, so you really have to like them. Once you start there, there's a lot of pathways of where you want to go. I think a lot of people start in the classroom, and then they realize it's not for them, so they end up in the office somewhere, or they end up in admin, terrible place. But they end up there, or, you know, they go into a specialty, right? And I would definitely suggest that if you guys are in college right now, if you guys are in high school, I would suggest, like, pick a specialty. Like, You can be a teacher with any degree, And I did psychology for 3 years in college, and I should have stuck with it. And I didn't. I was like, no, I'm gonna go into linguistics, and I changed in my senior year. Did a whole year of linguistics, and then graduated with a linguistics major. It wasn't beneficial at all, honestly. Like, you could be a teacher with any degree. Like, pick a specialty that gives you a lot of options, I think. With my linguistics major, it really limited me to what I could do. If I had a psychology major, I think of the different pathways of what I could be doing. Yes? It depends. Do you want to study more and have a master's in something? I think it depends on what field you want to go into, but it's a very basic level major. A lot of like specialties will require you to have prerequisites. So if you're going to go any deeper into anything, you'd probably have wanted to have, let's say if you want to become a psychologist, like a school psychologist, you would have wanted to have taken some classes in psychology in order to like beat out those prerequisites ahead of time. Prerequisites do expire. So like if you haven't been in school for like 8 years and you try to go back, like they say you have to do it all over. So I would definitely recommend, even if you're just gonna be like a general multi-subject teacher, not like a math teacher or a science teacher, like yeah, going into like an actual specialty to help you with choosing what you may do later. Because I see a lot of times like, I think general ed teachers will stay in the field for a pretty long time and just stay as a general education teacher. I think special ed is a little bit different. We get really tired really fast and then like we can't keep up with these kids. So then we like pick a specialty, right? If you're in special education, from my experience, I think I would suggest OT. Just there's a lot of things that we have to do as special education teachers. And so for me, like the biggest part is like writing IEPs, right? There's something called IEPs and it's not factored into your workday. It's not factored into your pay. You honestly get paid the same as any other teacher. And so once you do that repetitively, you start thinking like, oh, like what kind of pathway should I have gone through? And I see like my colleagues, right? And you're like, dang, study, guys, study. When you guys can study, study. You studied, like, yeah, you come in and like, oh man, like, look at the occupational therapists, you know, they like specialized in that and they work one-on-one with the kid, like they make a difference in that kid. They're, you know, working on a specialty, they get paid more. They do the, you know, they do the IEPs and stuff like that, but it's like specific to that child, you know, and so I would definitely like zone in while you can. Like I wish I studied more when I was younger. Now with the family, it definitely gets harder, right? And going back to college is hard. Going through a specialty that may take like 2-3 years to do, like even if you want to do speech or psychology or something else, it takes you like 2-3 years if you do it full time. And to be able to like ask your partner, maybe if you guys are like 2 income families, like can I take a break to go back to that, like is really, really difficult, you know, if you're like starting up a family later on. So I would do it now while you guys are single and not married and have the time, like study, study, study. But anyway, I'll let you know about my path to education. I started out in Santa Barbara. We did not have a teaching major or a credentialing program. And I think that was my bad. I think in high school I should have like, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, so I should have picked the school that like Cal State, you know, LA or Cal State Fullerton, somewhere that had a teaching program and like did that, but I didn't. I picked Santa Barbara. Why? They gave me money. They were like, here's the scholarship. And I said, okay, I'm going. And I went, and there was nothing for me there. Really, I just graduated with a random major. You could be a teacher, but then I had to start all over. So I graduated, got a bachelor's, and I decided to go into the district intern program. So there's an intern program for LAUSD. San Diego has it as well, and a lot of universities have university intern for teaching. And so I went into that program because they let you work. And so when I graduated, I wanted to do like all the fun things and like, oh, I want to go work in random places and be a waitress and go try this while I can. I did all of that, and then I found my lifelong partner, and I said, okay, I better, you know, go into what I wanted to do. So I did the district intern program. I signed up in March, like applications. In June, we did a summer program for about 2 months, and in August, they throw you into like a full-on class. You get pay just like a regular teacher starting your first year. So I thought that was beneficial for me to get my degree that way, working full-time in a school. We went to class at night. We did 2 years of credentialing, and then we did 2 years of clear. Once LAUSD's intern program is free, so beneficial, but you owe them 5 years of your life. So once you do the intern program, after you get credentialed, you owe them 5 years of teaching for LAUSD before you're cleared to go work anywhere else in California. Worked out for me. That's kind of what I did. Yes.
So, obviously, your career choice and all for stable money.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really like a mindset I have. I think it's just more of like, I guess love of the game versus
Absolutely.
teaching and stuff, and that makes me like happy regardless of like what the pay is. But like, you know how you said like I should have to like, because I could get like a teaching degree with like any major really. You think because I have a lot of experience also in recreational teaching as like being volunteer summer camp and
Mm-hmm.
summer counselor. You think that could like be a prerequisite, or you think it's just like school based?
Usually for schools, they only consider the school like units even. So teacher pay, you guys are probably interested. If you're just starting at a year one, and I'll only speak for my district or what we kind of do. Our pay scale, if this is like a square chart, you start, I guess for you guys is over here, right? Like year one with, the top is the years and this side is like salary points, and you like go up the scale, right? For us, as of right now, $72,000 is your starting pay as a teacher, which is not very great. But every year you get like a raise, right? A little bit for being in the field for that long, up to 10 on the chart. And then after that, it goes on to a different scale, up to 10. And then you can go down the scale for how many units you have, like salary units. And units are anything from a semester or a quarter school that considers 1 unit. So if you get like one more class after you graduate your bachelor's, it's 1 point. So if you take a 4-unit class, you'll have 4 points. It maxes out at 98. If you are on year one with maximum, like you did your master's before getting hired, you'll be from 72 to like 78. If you are at 10 years, so you go all the way across 10 years with the maximum points, I believe it's like $113,000 a year, which is not terrible considering the amount of time that you work. So teaching, for me, it's beneficial and works because I only work 180 days in a year. So the 365, I work exactly half. We get all the holidays off, we get summer off, winter break, spring break. And then my day is from 8 o'clock to 2:30. And then I get to go home. It works in a family style, right? For vacations, it works for pickups for my own kids. It works with benefits because the schools, if you're a teacher, it's a government job, they pay for your benefits. It's comfortable, but not rich. Like business, you can get rich, right? There's no real end point to it. Teachers, I wouldn't say you're poor. I mean, you can, I think once you hit the 10 years, you'll be pretty good. I mean, 113,000, not bad for 10 years. But it's not something, like it's just a stable job. I think it's not something that you can rely on to like do a lot with it, but you definitely have to have a heart for it. It's something that you can do till like you're a lot older. Like I know some people like get into like the fashion industry or something like that where like they cap, right? Like at 50, like they're like, oh, I don't know really what to do with myself because, the company that they work with are bringing in new people. There's a lot of job security with being a teacher. You can do it till you retire, and even after you retire, people come back to do subbing. And so it's pretty stable. For special education specifically, job security, there's always job availability. I think for regular gen ed teachers too, job availability, you may not get the district or like the closest neighborhood to where you live, but I mean, there's always teaching jobs as of right now. Yeah, no, go for it.
Should I start like, because I said like entry level
No, I don't think so. Unless you're like specifically doing it for like a prerequisite for something else that you're gonna for sure do later. No. Even minors don't really help you. I have a minor in education with a major in linguistics. It really doesn't matter or help. I think I would focus more on just graduating with with one major and then adding any study on top of that, right? Because they consider, I think a lot of districts factor in how much education you have because they always want teachers to continue their learning. And so they want to see that after you graduated, after your bachelor's, how many classes did you do after that? So I would say like go straight into a master's program. If it's specific, it's better if you know what you want to do, like chemistry, or you want to go into special education or something like that. It's really good. Even if you don't, I would just master's in education, like just the general thing. The master's itself does not get you a lot more extra pay. It may help you in like competition-wise when you're trying to get hired somewhere, and the class units will help you. So some master's programs are like 30 units, and some master programs are like 45 units, and they go literally by like how many units you took for your pay. Any other questions? Let me just, yeah.
So
Let me
if
just-
you get a certificate in California,
Yes.
and if you move out of state, do you have to start all over again?
A lot of times, yes, because there's different requirements per state. But I have heard that the California credentialing program for teachers is really strict. Therefore, a lot of other states will consider the California one and will allow you to continue to work. I have one friend who moved out of state, and she was able to, through the district intern program, and she was able to continue to use the California one. I know a lot of other states that are coming into California does not qualify because California has a lot of like different tests that we need to take in order to become a teacher, like the CBEST and CSETs and all those requirements. I know. I have a suggestion for you. Talk to me later. There's someone that you need to follow, okay? Anyway, but yeah, it's very rigorous in California. Therefore, other states recognize our credentialing. So you usually don't have a problem. I thought I saw another hand. Yeah.
How did you end up landing on special education versus another, subject?
Yeah, thank you. So in college, I started volunteering. So I thought, I better start volunteering somewhere. I want to become a teacher. I don't really know what I want to do. And then I found myself, I emailed a bunch of places like, can I volunteer there? And the one person that got back to me was a speech therapy clinic. And they were working with students with autism specifically. And we were working one-on-one with them. And I was a volunteer, got to do a summer program with them. And after working there, I fell in love. I thought this is what I wanted to do. And I changed my major from psychology to linguistics in hopes to become a speech therapist teacher, which I am not yet. So my heart was to be a speech therapist, but looking at the life path that I had, I couldn't study any longer and I had to go straight into teaching. So therefore I wanted to go into special education and then continue my education into speech therapy, which hopefully is in my near future once my kids grow up. Any other questions? I'm gonna look at my notes real quick just to make sure that I hit all the spots. I think I covered everything. Any questions? Yes.
I got one that's really interestingly unique. If you had all the power in the world over education, the extent of that is just far-reaching. As if you're president of the entire thing. You just have that much power for one day. What would you change?
I think Christian-based curriculum in all schools. I think that is, as a Christian, such a big, big concern, right, in public education. And I see a little, California is dark, I know, but it is a little bit hopeful. There's 2 states, Wyoming, as of right now, has incorporated teaching from the Bible in all of their schools, in public schools. They are teaching using the Bible because they believe that, it is history and it's something that our nation is founded upon, and therefore all of their schools are doing it. Next to follow is Texas, is also incorporating biblical practices, not the Bible, but biblical practices and morals from the Bible, and teaching it as like, oh, it's part of also our history. And so hopefully other states will continue to follow that track. But if I had the power, yes, more Christian-based education in public schools.
Follow up to that is you give that answer from your conviction as a Christian, but do you also find that amongst other Christians, your peers and coworkers in that field, who are Christian but don't share that view, do you find have you had encounters with that? Maybe just LAUSD or whatnot. And what are your opinions?
Sure. I mean, for me directly at our school, it hasn't impacted us at all. But we do, have conversations about it and how it would. And we know in some places in LAUSD, in some schools, like junior high, high school, there's events, right? There's Gay Pride Week or month or whatever it is. They have deliberate curriculum that is being taught to students, right? And even, I don't think LAUSD, but I do know, I've heard of other schools where they've even asked kids, like young kids, to like Socratic seminars. I don't know, you guys familiar with Socratic seminars, where you guys all sit down, you read a book, and you guys like talk about it. But now it's like Socratic seminars about, well, if you were to come out, now you got to place yourself into that situation, and like if you were to come out, what would you say, and have this like debate, right? And it's like influencing these young minds and like these young students. And among Christian educators, we try our best to, if the curriculum is there, to do our best to avoid it. I don't think I've or anyone in LAUSD has come across the force yet of like, you have to read this book. There's like books, right, called like My Shadow is Different, and it's like presented to kindergarteners where their shadow is like a little girl and like the person itself is a little boy. Like, if I was told to like read that book to my students, like, I don't know, like, could I do that as a Christian? Like, I don't think so. I think it'd be an uphill battle. In the education system, we do have unions that are very strong in number. And so hopefully the union will support, our religious backgrounds and our religious morals to teach and not teach about those subjects. So just addressing that with our fellow Christians in education, I think we all have kind of talked about not crossing that line and kind of staying firm. And I think that's kind of what we're called to in life as Christians, right? Like, there's so many situations where we're called to be different. We're called to, stand our positions. And I think that's so strong. And that's just what we have to continue to do.
So is there a two path in education where you could be a teacher and you could be an administrator?
Oh, yes. So teaching is, you get a teaching credential. In order to be an admin, you have to get an admin credential. So you have to go specifically into a master's program with an admin credentialing. And also, if you go into special education, you get a degree, or if you get your credentialing in special education, you cannot teach a general education classroom. So I have a teaching credential in special ed, mild, moderate, specific to my class, and I cannot go and substitute or teach for a general education classroom. So you'd have to like pick a path while you're doing it. And a gen ed teacher could not teach a special education class unless they get that degree or that credentialing. Any other questions? Yes.
You're a Christian, but you're also a mother.
Yes.
And so you understand what it feels like to be a parent, to have children sent into, they have to go to education. That's part of our country. And one of the privileges of receiving education in various different ways. But thinking about how there are different ways, public school, private, and just so many different
No, no, yes. I think the simple answer would be make lots of money so you can put him in private Christian school, right? As a parent, I wish that, right? Like, man, like, I really realistically think, like, should I just have had one kid and protected this kid and put in, like, all my money to this kid to, like, send him to, like, a private school? Like, maybe. Like, at the rate of how scary our education is becoming, maybe I should have done that. When I think about, it's already happened, right? We have 3 kids. I can't send them all to private school. Prayer, that's all we can do. Really pray for your kids. Pray for your future kids. Pray for your spouses now, right? You really have to pray that, you know, God will protect them wherever they are, even if they are in public schools, even for yourselves, what teachers you're going to meet next semester in college, what, you know, teachers you're going to meet your next year in high school, to really pray that, you know, God will protect them, God will protect you. Even in a public school, I think the teacher that they meet is so, so important, right? Like, for me as a Christian, I know if a student comes into my class, there's no way that I'm going to be teaching something that's out of my own morals, right? And so I pray that my kids, for the generation, that they would meet a teacher that has the same moral values or will stand strong for my child, even if they are in public school. And so I think that is something that is so important, just knowing. I mean, the areas, right, the cities where you guys live, that impacts it. But honestly, if there's just one good teacher in a whole school that's bad, like, and your kid gets that one teacher, like, it's okay. They're protected. God is with them, right? God is good. And so I would just say really, really pray, because a lot of it is out of our hands, and it becomes a point where we really have to trust God, right? Trust that God's workers are there, God's in the fields, and that, yeah, he's going to protect us. Yes. I have, because it is scary. If I could, like, financially, like, we could survive the life that we, you know, are comfortable with homeschooling, I think I definitely would, and I could do it, but I don't think I'm in a position where I can. But definitely homeschooling, if you can, like, yeah, like, if you think you could teach your kids, I know a lot of people get, like, intimidated, but honestly, I think, like, is protecting them a higher priority, right? And teaching them, or is it a higher priority to risk, right? But I think with faith, we have to have faith, right? That God is here, that God is good. And I think home education, even if you're not homeschooling, is so, 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 so important in this age. You know, doing the Bible studies at home, teaching your kids our Christian faith as a young child, bringing them to church, and really putting that foundation on our morals, our values, you know, what we have to do as Christians when they're, like, really, really little, starts at the home and really has to be the foundation of home in order to be able to let them go to school with, like, comfort and peace and knowing my child is strong, my child's not going to waver, even if they hear it, right? When they're young, it's hard. Kindergarten, they might not know. When they hear it over and over and over again, they come to church, they know their Christian faith, they know their morals, they're standing strong. We have to have faith that when that time comes, right, they'll be able to make a choice. They'll be able to hear it and not be affected by it. And so that's kind of all we can do, right, as parents and as fellow Christians, is to really put on that armor of God and then pass that on to our generations and generations and have faith, you know. Any other questions? And I know we're all really young, but I really believe that God does not call the ready, but he readies the called, okay? So don't be scared. Whatever he's called you guys to do, whether it's education or whatever field may be, he readies the called. I have one last gift card. And I have no standard of how to give it. So if anyone knows any of my kids' names, Guesses? No. Oh, Eon. That's my older kid's name. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, another round of applause for Janice Yu, who gave a great speech on education. All right, guys, thank you. That was two of our great sessions. I have 2 cards left too. I may be able to save it for our next session. Do you know what our next session is going to be about, which is in 2 weeks? We had business. Okay. All right. So we're going to have on the January 26th, we're going to have engineering. Anybody who's in engineering or thinking about going into engineering? 0? Okay, and then we're going to have either nursing or entrepreneurship. We're still working on recruiting a speaker. Anybody who's interested in any of those, please come here in 2 weeks. All right? Okay. Did everybody sign in? Only 9명밖에 없대. Only 9 people. What happened to the other 3? All right, please do that. I really want to give this one out. All right. Oh, Stan, 집사님, come up here. He still has one. He probably has a great question available.
Not really. How old am I? Even that. I'll give it to you. I really wish. Oh, one more thing I just completely forget. That's actually the answer. So whoever wanna be kind of wanna have a mentorship from me, what I can cover, I can give my information to the pastor, so I can review the portfolio, or like if I can know all the industry people in the Warner Brothers, the Sonys and like so. Whoever wanna be any specific, art things, and I can kind of give you some guidance, like how you develop it and which is better. I can kind of review those portfolio together maybe. So let me know.
All right, thank you. So we are going to have, next session is going to be on January 26th, but February 16th is going to be our last session, and we're going to have a nonprofit speaker, and then we'll have all the mentors get together, and then you can actually sign up. And you can have, bring your portfolio and sign up for Mr. Sa or education for Miss Yu, and we can do that on that day. All right, guys, thank you so much. What was your, We need to go home, right? Okay, thank you for being here today. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.